newspapers, social media, and you probably see perhaps the lack that there is in support of a national team sometimes. You know, what would you like to see when it comes to the support of a team who has already qualified for an AFCON?
Good day, everyone. It's obviously wonderful to be in camp again. We had a wonderful pre-camp last week. Got lots of good work done. The mood in the camp is obviously high. Obviously the coach has a strong core now, so you know the mentality and everything, you know, is good amongst each other. We're looking forward to the game. It's a big one. Obviously we're missing a few guys, but like the coach mentioned, they'll be here tomorrow, and then you know we'll get the work done. We're looking forward to the game. Yeah, obviously it's a bit disappointing, you know, because having been on the other side a few years ago, and we got a lot of criticism, and rightfully so, you know, when we didn't qualify, you know, it does. And now when we did qualify, and you don't see any hype about us, it's a bit, you know, it's a bit saddening. It's a bit disappointing because, you know, the national team support us, you know, through thick and thin. That's why we need each and everyone's support. You know, we can't do it on our own. I mean, when we play these teams away, they make it so difficult for us, you know, and once we play at home, you know, we don't see the numbers, you know, and we don't see the true support, you know, that one would hope you'd get, you know. So I would just like to urge, you know, the fans to come out, support the team, get behind the team, because you can see there's something good growing amongst us. You know, in the last few years, I mean, we've only lost 3 games in the 2 or 3 years, and people don't speak much about it, you know, but we've done extremely good work, and, you know, people need to appreciate it as well.
Taking questions for Skipper. 1, 2, any there? 3 at the back, can't see, sorry, 4. Okay, go ahead. Who's 1? Go ahead.
Ronwen, congratulations on winning the league with Mamelodi Sundowns. How has that motivated you, you know, building up to AFCON? Do you maybe perhaps see yourself lifting the trophy come next year?
No, obviously, thanks so much. Obviously playing at that level, you know, playing Champions League semi-final as well, it helps, you know, it gives one the experience, you know, to play high quality games against high quality opposition. You know, it's not easy, it's tough, you know, but these games helps you, you know, especially for the national team. Now you know what's at stake and the type of games you're going to play, because sometimes it's not what happens on the field of play, it's what happens outside, you know, and these teams, they use that to their advantage. So that's what we have learned, you know, in the last few years. I can remember saying 2 years ago when we lost to Ghana away, I told the boys, use this as a learning curve, because now you know how difficult it is, you know, with the traveling, with the things that they do before the game. So the boys have learned, so now nothing, you know, is new to them anymore. And having so many guys, you know, especially, you know, the Sundowns players playing, you know, Champions League year in, year out, you know, it helps, you know, the experience comes in handy. And obviously having few more teams next season, you know, it will obviously help the national team going forward.
Temba, you can go ahead.
Temba Shabalala, Joseph from Sports. Ronza, just on that, in camp with the young stars, in mind comes a young Maseko. What is their incorporation been like, and what is it like to deal with the players that are just coming into the national team, probably taking you back to when you were at their age coming to the national team? What systems are you guys using as seniors, as captains as well, to bring them into speed? And another one is the grandfather of South African football, Clive Barker, is no more. As a captain of the team, what comes to your mind when it comes to that, and your message to the Barker family and the football family?
Yeah, first and foremost, you know, may his wonderful soul rest in peace. You know, obviously Bafana Bafana, South Africa as a whole, you know, it's a massive loss to the football family in South Africa. You know, what he's done for football, you know, he's given us all hope. You know, I mean, he's the only coach to win AFCON, you know, and he's given us hope as a country, you know, that we can do it. So to his family, to his loved ones, you know, we feel the pain with you guys. Obviously, some of us worked with him, and you know what he's done, you know, for a lot of the players' careers. I can remember he was the one that made people take note of Themba Zwane a few years ago. So we feel the pain, and hopefully now going forward, we can use his legacy, as inspiration, to keep going and keep fighting. And yeah, coming on the younger players, we make it easy for everyone. You don't want to bombard them with a lot of information. You just obviously explain to them how things are done, and they can see it. The environment it's so calm. We've got a coach who don't ask too many things of us. The mood in the camp is relaxed. When it's time to work, we work very hard. And they know different. We tell them, go out there and express yourself. You've got a coach who gives you the opportunity to express yourself. And I mean, Tapelo, Cassius, the younger ones, they're playing up front, and for them, we want them to express themselves because that's their game. And for us as seniors, we just make sure that everything is fine, they're happy, they settle down so that they can give us their best.
Tabiso?
Thanks, Brian. I think maybe you've partially answered my question. Tabiso, SABC. The coach being there for 2 years, you mentioned how many matches we've lost as a squad. You mentioned the stability and quality that is in there. You want to obviously keep that. Is there a factor with the coach being there consistently? I mean, what does one read into? Because obviously something is clicking, working right. The results speak for themselves. It's the big ones that coach I know mentioned as well. We announced the squads that he wants to be judged come AFCON. Yes, we can lose against Morocco. He's building, speaking about data that he wants to correlate. There seems to be a lot going into the inner camp when you guys are such a plan. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, obviously the coach has massive experience, and he knows what he wants and what he needs, for a team to be successful. I mean, he showed it, 2019 when he won the AFCON with Cameroon. So he knows what it takes, and obviously we need to believe in, what he wants from us, because obviously we can see the improvement in the last few years. I mean, we're playing, good football, and when it's time to fight, we can fight as well. Because we saw a few years ago when we played Ghana away, it was easy. It wasn't a football match, it was a fight, and that's what we've learned over the last few years. And you can see now the coach has, the core and the team is stable, and that's the nice thing. We know each other very well. The spirit amongst each other, it's good. The camp is good. Everyone knows, the job at hand, and the message is clear, to go out there and fight for the badge, and that's what we've done over the last few years, and you can see it in our results.
Last question for Ronza. It was at the back there. Sorry, I can't see.
Yeah, Mazola from SABC Sport. Skipper, the same question was asked to the coach when he announced the squad in terms of the strides you've made in a year, especially a year ago you played Morocco. They didn't do well in the AFCON, but they went on to finish 4th in the World Cup. You've now qualified for the AFCON. I know it's difficult to compare because of what they've done in Qatar, but how far do you think you've come to be able to see, to gauge against Morocco on Saturday?
Yeah, definitely. We've grown in leaps and bounds. If you go back a few years, we were getting wonderful results in the World Cup qualifier, and then obviously we didn't make it, and then everyone was hammering us, and we couldn't believe it, because we done extremely well. It's just we didn't qualify, and the coach, he kept telling us, that just believe in what we are doing. Things will go on upward spiral for us, and that's exactly what happened over the last few years. We could see it, and we can see it as players as well. We can feel it. I mean, like I mentioned now, when we go out there and it's time to fight, we can fight as well. When it's time to play good football, we can do that as well. And everyone's mentality is the same. Once we put on the Bafana jersey, we know, the job that we need to do. We want to take Bafana Bafana to the next level, and it's possible. We've got the players, we've got the experience now, so we need to do it. And these games now against, obviously Morocco is a good test for us. This will be a good test now. And the next few camps, September, October, November, this World Cup qualifiers again. So these are high-profile games, and we take each and every game serious. And this is a good test for us, and this will give the coach, will give us a clear indication of how far we are and how ready we are for AFCON.
All right, more questions will be done during the one-on-one. Sorry, Cap, time is very tight. I'm going to move over now, and we're going to get a quick representing Bafana Bafana. Are you guys all right? Representing Bafana Bafana is not something that you take lightly. We've spoken about this, the two of us, but just share how important and what it means to take to the field to represent South Africa.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's good to be back. I think we all know how important is representing your country, and for me to be here, I was with the group that was chosen by the coach, and we've been working so hard for the past 2 years, and I think now we're heading in the right direction, and we're just reaping off the fruit from what we've tried to inject in the group. And I think it's all the experiences and the disappointments, and I think I was just one of the few players that are here in camp now who was involved in the team that didn't make it for AFCON. So I know how it felt, and I'm quite happy now that we were able to qualify, and the group is just heading in the right direction, and it's very important for us. And I'm just going to touch base on what the captain said. It's really disappointing for the South Africans not to really appreciate the kind of work that the coach has done for the past 2 years, because as I said, I was with the group that didn't qualify for AFCON 3 years ago, and I remember the hammering, and then now I think we did fairly good with the new team, and then there was no quite of a hype because we've qualified. I think we qualified because we have to qualify sometimes, but then when we don't qualify, we get the hammering. So we're just urging for the support from the South Africans, so that we know for sure whenever we have to play home, we have that advantage, because we're playing home, we have that kind of a support that we deserve.
Taking 3 questions. 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4. Okay.
Siyanda, I hear the message you and the skipper shares about the fans, but would you guys like to be more in touch with the fans, go to the malls, speak to them, do more interviews? Because since you guys have been in camp, we don't hear much from the team. It's only the coach that speaks through you guys. But would you guys like to be more in touch with the support?
Yeah, I think it was going to be very easy if we had too much time as a national team. But I think even now the coach always complains about the amount of time he has. I don't think anyone has that much time to go and engage the fan from the outside, because of, I think even now other players are only joining us on Thursday, on Wednesday. So there's not much time, but I think it's something that we can try and work on as a team. I think it's Romi's department to try and engage the fans, and I think it's something that we can try to do. But again, the challenge is the amount of time that we have as a team.
Thanks for that, and we will try, guys. Turn up like this every time we have a press conference, and we won't be denied access. But sprinkling of media, why should we have the press conference? Always keep that in mind. But turn up like this, and we have ammunition, or I have at least. That's it.
See, on something a bit different here. Here in the country over the last while, we have had a discussion on overseas players going overseas and all that stuff. And you are one of the guys who has always, left your comfort zone to go to Europe, and sometimes not at big leagues and big clubs. What would you say to the local guys here, that maybe they must challenge themselves by leaving South Africa to go to Azerbaijan or wherever, to go and try it out there, and also put themselves on that European market in those leagues?
I think personally, I always thought that playing your trade outside of your comfort zone or in Europe or wherever, it improves you as a player. We see now with Morocco, they have 90% of the players playing in Europe. That's why they were able to compete at the highest level. So I think it's very important, but again, I think it's one thing that we need to make sure that we try and do as South Africans, whereby we import more players overseas so that we can try and compete when it comes to the bigger countries, because that's the only thing they have. They have more players playing in Europe, players playing in Champions League, in European League. So I think they have that bit of an advantage of playing competitive football week in, week out, whereby when we're playing home, when we have to play against them, we don't have that much experience. When it comes to the national team, we have 10% of the squad that plays at the competitive league, so it becomes very difficult. But I think personally, it's just one thing that we have to try and improve as a country, get more players competing in the very big leagues.
Babashe, soon as the national team, you've seen it evolving. You've worked with quite a few coaches. You've had different captains. You've seen successes and failures. What makes this squad different? That looking at the previous campaign and looking at this now, where you didn't qualify, but now you're going to this match as probably a practice match, if I may say, call that. Looking at the national team now with the group that you have. How much hope does it bring? And
siyazwelana kakhulu nomndeni wa-Clive. I had a lack of working with him at Coca-Cola Football Stars 2008. So I know him personally. So he was a very good coach, and it's a huge loss for South African football. Condolences to his family. I've been in different groups, as you mentioned earlier, and I think I've mentioned before that this group is special because we have young players and we have a coach who has experience, and everything is just clear. Not that I'm trying to criticize the other groups that I've been with, but I think now the fact that I'm even more involved, I think it makes it easy for me to judge on the experiences. And I said it before that this group, the way we do things, it's clear. There are no gray areas. So I think that is why it's much even easier to work with the coach who's simple, who knows what he does, and then his experience speaks for itself.
I think it's one last question for Sia before we break into our one-on-ones. Thabiso?
Usikhele phezulu analo mhlawumbe isifundo into efanayo ungwele uClive umuntu omdala sesishila kakhulukazi lo muntu ovela eNatali kwakhona naye mhlawumbe umyalezo womuntu okwesibili mhlawumbe ngumakeba futhi
okay
ukubaleka kweqembu Bafana ukuthi lo mdlalo besiyabona phela sokumuntu simzulu iqeqesha sidinga ukunqoba ukutheni sesiqualify kodwa kubaleka kangakanani le qembu lidlale likhombise kakhulukazi umyalezo ushoyo ukuthi abalandeli bebhola cela bafike banithokomele njengeqiniso.
Kubaluleke kakhulu ukuthi simisele kulo mdlalo ngoba kujwayeleke ukuthi sidlala amagame amakhulu kangaka sine pressure ekhona eningi, so ukwenza kahle kwethu kuzosinika ithuba lokuthi sikwazi ukuexpressa ngaphandle kwepressure la nathi sokwazi ukuyikala khona ukuthi sikephi njengeqembu, njengoba ngishilo ukuthi iqembu elisha but khona izitep ezikhona ezithembisayo. Ekubeleni emndeni wa Clive, njengoba nami ngibuya esigodini esifana nesakhe, sazolana kakhulu naye and ngingajabula ukuthi sidlale kahle, sikwazi ukummela, sikwazi ukumbeka kahle.
All right, thank you guys. On that note, we can break into the one-on-ones.